Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay from OC Habitats, and today we're going to be exploring the grasslands. The invasion of California grasslands with non-native species during the 17th century has been one of the most dramatic and undocumented ecological shifts of the historic era. Pre-European introduction, California grasslands were thought to be filled with native perennial bunch grasses, annual grasses, and broadleaf herbs. But there has been recent findings from the earliest European explorers that the grasslands were mostly covered in broadleaf flowering plants, which are known as forbs. Present-day grasslands are typically dominated by high non-native annual cover, but you can still see native plants in low amounts. Grassland species has the ability to store large amounts of carbon. That makes them a carbon sink. So carbon sinks help regulate the climate by removing and storing carbon from the atmosphere. This makes them able to slow the rate of global temperature change by removing the carbon from the atmosphere. Perennial grasslands are able to renew 50% of their root mass each year. This gives them the capacity to store large amounts of carbon underground. 90% of California's endangered and threatened plant species actually belong in the grasslands. The California Native Grassland Society reports that 99% of California's grassland habitat has been lost. This makes these species especially vulnerable due to habitat loss. Although we do not have extensive grasslands in California or Orange County anymore, you can still find them locally around the semi-hills of Los Angeles, portions of central Orange County like the Cleveland National Forest, or the Paris Plain in Riverside County, the Irvine Ranch Conservancy, and along portions of Camp Pendleton in San Diego County. What are the benefits of long root systems of native bunch grasses? Did you say it stores a lot of carbon and all of the above? We are going to explore the native flora and fauna of the California grasslands. Some common plant types that we're going to be talking about are going to be bunch grasses and forbs. So we're going to dive a little deeper into some of those exact species. California's state flower is known as the California poppy. The California poppy blooms abundantly in spring and will do annual massive displays in the disturbed grasslands along the Antelope Valley, which is home to the California Poppy Reserve. Fun fact about this flora is that early Spanish settlers had a name for the poppy, meaning drowsy one. This is due to the flower's tendency to close at night. Poppies will attract a variety of pollinators, but they are mainly pollinated by beetles and a variety of bees and butterflies. In 2023, there was a record-breaking rainfall that brought with it super blooms of poppies in regions all over California, including Riverside County. Many of these areas containing the super bloom of poppies had to be restricted to public access due to the trampling of poppies during the 2020 super bloom. Trampling does not allow for the plant to reproduce, so it makes it difficult for the poppies to return in future years. There are many different varieties of lupins native to California. Lupins are a medium-sized forb growing from 6 to 24 inches in height, and they have palmate-divided leaves. The lupins pictured here is the arroyo lupin. Most lupins are purple, but they can also be pink or white. They are known for making patchwork mosaics mixing with poppies and coast goldfields. The bright colors of the lupins attract many bee species, butterflies, and hummingbirds. My favorite forbs is a slender perennial herb called the California buttercup. The California buttercup is one of the first flowers to bloom in spring. They are also often used by indigenous tribes around California for food. They would often collect the seeds to toast them in a toasting basket, allowing them to pop open, similar to popcorn. Bees are the primary pollinator, but other insects are also attracted to them, like flies or thrips. The purple clarkia belongs to a group of flowers that are known as the farewell to spring, since there is such a late blooming flora. The purple clarkia is commonly seen in butterfly gardens or bee gardens because they are very attractive to pollinators. Similar to the California poppy, the flower does close at night, but it does remain open during the day. Orange County has a variety of native plant gardens that act as bee gardens and butterfly gardens. The Fullerton Arboretum and Sherman Library are both day visits if you are trying to see some native plants. One can also visit the Theodore Payne Society, California Native Plant Society, and S&S Seeds, or even Tree of Life Nursery if interested in adding native plants to your own garden. The last plant species we're going to highlight is the purple needlegrass. This native bunch grass can be seen in grasslands, chaparral, and oak woodlands. The purple needlegrass became California's state grass due to its being the most widespread native grass, giving it the ability to suppress invasive species and provide much needed support to native oaks. They grow well in clay soils and have deep root systems that can reach up to 20 feet deep. As previously mentioned, these deep root systems are an adaptation for the plants to combat the harsh California drought. This allows the plant to reach moisture deep in the ground and gives it the ability to withstand these high, hot, dry temperatures. What are the effects of trampling? That's right, it hinders plant reproduction. There are many animals on wing, foot, and belly that also rely on the California grasslands. The first noteworthy animal is the mule deer. These deers are known for their large ears, earning them the species name of heminus, meaning half mule. The mule deer's diet consists of forbs, leaves of woody plants, and berries. There are 6 different subspecies of mule deer that inhabit California. Mule deer have a heightened sense of smell. They can differentiate up to 6 different smells at the same time. Their heightened sense of smell helps deer to locate food and smell approaching animals, like predators. Scat can tell us a lot about an animal, like where it's been or what kind of food they eat. Mule deer are considered crepuscular, meaning that they're active at dawn and dusk. Scat knowledge allows for the identification of that animal that otherwise wouldn't be seen. Mule deer scat is about the size of a raisin and kind of almond-shaped. They often have plant matter in their droppings, and it'll frequent where they travel. Mountain lions go by many names. Some of those include cougar, puma, or painter. In Orange County, we primarily call them cougars or mountain lions. Around half of California is mountain lion country. They are considered a keystone species, meaning they play an important part in the ecosystem. This predator keeps populations of large prey, like the mule deer, under control. Mountain lions will often cover their prey with dirt or snow and come back to feed on it for the next few days, kind of like leaving it in a refrigerator. This will also help the environment by adding nutrients back into the soil when decomposers that live in that soil come and break down the prey. From 1907 to 1963, California considered the mountain lion a bounty predator, thus making monetary incentives for killing mountain lions. This predator is now considered threatened, but of least concern due to their population steadily decreasing. Mountain lions are also crepuscular, so scat is an important identification tool. Mountain lions will often scrape fur off their prey before eating it, so as a result, there's little hair in the scat. Bone fragments are also commonly found in the scat, giving it a white appearance. The increase of urbanism is creating habitat islands. Mountain lions are now unable to travel between these habitat islands, meaning they are no longer able to travel and mate outside their own gene pool. Many mountain lion offspring are now being born with bent tails, which is a sign of inbreeding. It is thought that they may even be extinct in this area within the next 50 years. The Mountain Lion Foundation was created in order to protect California mountain lions. Now to highlight one of the smaller creatures that calls the grasslands home, the California ground squirrel. The California ground squirrel, as the name implies, lives underground in burrows just like this one. They often house multiple generations of ground squirrels in the same burrow. The California ground squirrel's diet is mostly seeds and insects. While foraging for food, they will stuff their cheek pouches in order to collect more food. They have a gray cape that breaks up the outline of the body, making it harder for predators to see them. The ground squirrel scat is tubular and brown to black. They do not have the woody fibers that is commonly found in tree squirrel scat. There are other animals in the grasslands that make use of the burrows made by the California ground squirrel, like the burrowing owl and varying braids of snakes. As previously mentioned, the burrowing owl does not dig their own burrows, so they live near ground squirrels and other burrowing mammals in order to capitalize on already built burrows. This owl is the only raptor to nest underground. Unfortunately, there has been a 36% population decline in the Imperial Valley. This is majorly due to habitat loss from human development and invasive takeovers, making the habitat unsuitable. The burrowing owl is currently listed in 9 states as a species of concern. If proper invasive management is done, then native flora would be able to be reintroduced, making the environment suitable once again. The burrowing owl expels castings. These castings are commonly called owl pellets. They are regurgitated in order to get rid of waste that cannot be digested by the owl. These castings are dry and compact and commonly contains densely packed fur, feathers, and bones. Burrowing owls have been spotted in Newport Beach and the Banning Ranch Preserve. Another animal that uses the California ground squirrel's burrow systems is the California tiger salamander. They spend most of their adult lives underground. The California tiger salamander's life is split into 2 phases. This is called biphasic. The salamander's life begins in an aquatic environment. As they age into adulthood, they go through a metamorphosis and enter their terrestrial phase and begin to live underground. Vernal pools are considered a wetland and are a common feature around grasslands. They are shallow depressions that usually contain water for only part of the year. This is where salamanders reproduce and spend the first phase of their life. The California tiger salamander is considered the top predator in its ecosystem and provides valuable services as keeping insects under control and cycling nutrients back into the soil. Unfortunately, their population is decreasing primarily due to habitat loss from urban sprawl. What animal is biphasic? That's right, the California tiger salamander. Throughout the video, we've discussed many ways how humans impact the grasslands environment. So let's get into it. The dramatic decline of native grasses and grassland habitats in the last 2 centuries can be linked to human practices like intense cultivation, poorly managed grazing practices, urbanization, fire suppression, and the introduction of invasive/non-native plants. Grasslands are extremely sensitive to changes in precipitation, soil moisture, drought, and air temperature, making them especially vulnerable. As previously mentioned, according to the California Native Grassland Society, human activities have reduced California's native grasslands by 99%. Grasslands provide many ecosystem services. Some of the ecosystem services provided by the California grasslands would include air and water filtration, nutrient reintroduction to the habitat from decomposers, extensive pollination systems, and their extensive root systems which hold the soil in the ground, which prevents erosion. What is an ecosystem service? That's right, ecosystem services are the direct and indirect contributions of an ecosystem that positively impact human life. If you're finding yourself wanting to continue learning about grasslands and contribute by helping in restorations and planting native plants, here are some resources on the screen. Thanks for exploring the grasslands.